Okay, so this is week 3 for English 107 for spring 2020, or yeah, spring 2022, sorry. Again, these are not mandatory lectures. There's nothing going on here that is not available to you if you do not attend them, other than this is a great opportunity, especially during this pandemic where we're not really allowed to be on campus. I received an email already basically saying to stay away if possible for, I think they said, what did they say, like 3 weeks? Yeah. So this is really the best opportunity for me to touch base with you guys and get some feedback. And obviously, if I ask questions and no one answers, then my assumption is that there's no issues, there's no questions or concerns, and we move forward. But again, this is a great place. So if you have questions, you'll note that I'm looking at 2 different monitors. So I apologize if it looks like I'm looking away from you, but I'm blind as a bat because when I worked on my doctorate, I did so much reading that I burned out my eyes. So now it just makes it easier for me to see. So if I'm looking over here, it's to read, like where Ethan wrote in the chat, it's easier to read on this monitor than this monitor. So at this point this week, we should be working on the memo report. Should be already done. We should be working on the memo report draft, correct? The instructions have already been covered in week 1, and week 2 we've been working on the draft. So tomorrow you should have that draft into me, and then I will spend tomorrow and probably Wednesday burning through them really fast with feedback. And I mean, what is your preference? Do you want me to email them back to you? I can do that. That's probably the easiest way to do it versus trying to make comments directly on the assignment if you've uploaded it. So even if Ethan were to post it on Canvas, I'm going to download it and respond back to you in email. Does that sound fair to everybody that's here in the Zoom meeting?
That'll work.
Okay. And so when I give feedback, what that means is I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, because there is no way to be right or wrong when it comes to writing. What I can do is I will be able to direct you in how to clean it up, how to revise it, how to get it in a direction that will make it a good clean draft when you submit it on Sunday, which would be the final draft. And then we'll start working on the next part, which is, as I'm not sharing my screen, which I probably should at some point. It's not relevant. Anyhow, so then we'll be going into week 4, which is the user manual. User manual is a lot more, there's a lot more going on with user manual. So I'd kind of like to just get the memo draft and the memo finalized out of the way so that we can focus on the user manual. I'm actually going to do a pre-recorded lecture and add it to week 4's agendas and outcomes. It should be short, maybe 5-10 minutes. I'm going to go through the user manual instructions. I'm going to read them. I'm going to show you some samples that I have, and then we should be in great shape. And then week 4 will also be when you will email the final memo report draft to me. So Sunday you will have submitted the draft, and that falls under the same week for week 4. I think that's pretty clear. Does anyone have any questions? I mean, I've taken up a lot of your time, and I'm sorry. It's a Monday. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. It's kind of weird, but does anyone have any questions? Or are you just kind of waiting for extra information?
So the rough draft is due tomorrow?
The rough draft is due tomorrow, and then I will have it back to you by Wednesday.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And if you've already submitted it or you've already emailed it to me today, I will get it done and out of the way sooner than later. So sooner is better for you because it's more likely to get things done. If you've already submitted the final draft, I'm going to look at it, but if it's not right, I'm not going to hold you accountable. I will just reach out to you and let you know, because I know some people like to get ahead of the curve and they just want to start banging stuff out. And while that might work in some context, it's hard when we're still working on a drafting process. And I have had a couple students already submit the final draft, and I'm like, but I haven't even given you feedback. So, okay, so I'm going to read Ethan's again. Are we going to receive feedback on the draft on Wednesday to then? Yes, absolutely. There will definitely be feedback on it. It will not have a grade. So that's what I will tell you. It will not have a grade. I will give you feedback. I will go through it. I will not edit. So if you're thinking about what feedback looks like, I'm not sure what your experience with that is, but I do not edit your paper. What I will do is say, like, this sentence looks dicey, or there's an error here, or you're not getting into the context of what you're doing. What I won't do is go through and line edit your paper like I'm a newspaper editor and you're a journalist, and I'm just cleaning up your work. You know what I'm saying? So.
And it does need to have a primary source and then 2 secondary sources, correct?
Correct. But remember, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, remember, If you understand the difference between primary and secondary source, you should be perfectly fine.
Perfect. And then it needs to be, the memo needs to be based on like a work order or FLRA or something like that, right? Correct.
Yes. Yeah, I would
Okay.
keep it in the spectrum of what you understand and know. Don't try to go outside of your lane, as we say in the military. Just keep it in your lane and you should be perfectly fine.
Perfect. I just want to make sure and clarify that I'm not writing the wrong stuff. Get
No
it from the
problem.
source.
And if you feel like you are, and we're not in these meetings, I think people, I think some people have reached me before, but I'm easily contactable. You have my cell phone number, you have an email, just reach out to me. If you want me to look at something, send it to me an email, even if it's just a couple sentences to say like, is this going in the right direction for any assignment? And I will give you feedback on that probably that day, if not within the hour or two.
Awesome. I
I'm
appreciate it.
I'm not doing much but sitting here attending to all of my students, which is what I like doing. So it's not a big deal. It's kind of like, I like working from home during the pandemic because I just sit in my own comfortable chair and just respond to students all day. So
Thank you.
all right. Anybody have any questions other than Zach? I see Ethan. Ethan, have we answered your question? All right. Deborah, it's nice to see you again. Okay.
Attachments.
It sounds like a lot of dead space. So I don't want to make people just sit here and listening to a dead Zoom. So is there any other questions before I conclude the meeting?
Yeah, I don't know if is my mic working right now? Okay,
Yes.
I think it is. Okay, cool. So is all of the assignments offset by a week then?
Yeah, by half a week. Well, I'm willing to offset them by an entire week, but right now they're off by about half a week, which is perfectly fine. When we get into some of the longer assignments, it looks like you get 2 or 3 weeks to work on stuff and it'll go pretty quick. So,
okay.
And again, I'm not holding people to a deadline. If they're within a couple days and they reach out to me and tell me in advance, hey, I'm running behind or I missed something, I'm willing to be flexible. So I'm not going to be militant and give you 0 because you're 2 days behind. Just reach out to me and let me know that you're running a little behind and we're going to be perfectly fine. I would prefer drafts submitted as a Word document. So PDFs are nice in the world where I don't want to write on them. But if you're emailing them to me and you want feedback, it's easier if I can write on them and put comments off to the side and actually like use some highlighting and some other things that's available in a Word document that's not quite available as easily in a PDF format. I see Deborah has a question. Does Deborah have a mic? Oh, that's a no because she's talking, but I can't hear her. Okay. I'm just waiting to see what her question is. Again, there's no rush if you have questions. Yeah, docx, which is just the standard form for Word right now. For this one, I would email it to me. That's what we already discussed earlier on. Emails is perfect because I can respond directly back to you. If you put it in through the assignment submission, the problem is that if you submit it as a PDF, it will not let me annotate anything on that document, where if you submit it in an email to me, I can respond to it pretty quickly and get it back to you.
Need attachments.
Jose, you need attachments.
Oh,
Your mic's open, man. We were starting at 2:30. I think I was talking right as I started the class at like 2:25 when people were asking questions. So you didn't miss anything. I was going to recover that. So again, if you're listening to this recording and you're not in this meeting, please email me your rough draft to the email provided in the proper module for that week, or you could just go through the inbox and email it. Make sure that if you use inbox, you send me an email link to send it to, like an email address to send it to, because if you haven't noticed, the inbox feature has one weird kind of caveat. You can send me things with an attachment, but I can't attach it and send it back to you through the web campus. It's weird, but it is what it is, right? I don't like it. I don't have any control over it. You can, yes. So you can download it. So in Google Docs, you can literally just go into File, Save As, and one of the drop-down options is a docx. If you want to send it to me in Google Docs and that's all you have, I can still access it, but it's kind of awkward because when I'm sitting there trying to make notes, I may start a note and change it, start a note and change it, and start a note. And if you happen to be seeing that I'm working, you could go in and you'll see that I'm changing my note again and again and again, which gets kind of awkward, right? Because then you start to see my thinking while I'm trying to work out how to help you with feedback, and you might not be getting the feedback that you are going to get in the final context. I would absolutely add your email to the final on the draft, just so that I know who to email it back to if you're sending it through the inbox. Because again, I can't email it, and I didn't know. I've been with GBC now. This is my second year, and I was like today years old. I think it was last month that someone mentioned, you guys don't get email addresses. Not everybody has an email address, not all students. So even if I respond back with the link, it may not be going to any actual email address. It may just be going to Web Campus for you guys. And that's problematic for you and me. So again, adding an email if you need something sent to a specific person for this class is perfectly fine.
So should I resubmit the rough draft as an email because I submitted it through the assignment page?
If you've already set it to the assignment page, I'll look at it today and I will download it and make comments and send it to you via email. Just email me and let me know you did that, and I'll be able to just reply to that email with the document. That's probably the easiest way to do it at this point.
Oh, okay, sounds good. So should I just do it through the Web Campus email then, or?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, if you're just sending me an email address, you can send it through the Web Campus email. If you're actually sending me the document and you want me to respond back to it, it's better to send it to me through an actual email. All right, we got that awkward dead space again. So any other questions? Anything at all? All right, that sounds like we're ready to wrap it up. If you need me, you know how to contact me. Do we want to meet next Thursday, or do you want me to do a pre-recorded meeting like I did the last time? Like, is this work for you guys, or do you want me to just do a pre-recorded meeting where I kind of cover it and then we just post it on YouTube and you guys can watch it? And if you have questions, I like this sort of every other week thing, but it's up to you guys. It's your class. Okay, so let's stick to every other week. Mason, if you want to talk to me next week, we could definitely reach out and touch base through text, or if we want to set up a Zoom meeting, if you have specific questions you want to ask, I'm perfectly fine doing that. We'll do it like in office hours if that works for you. And for anybody, if you need me, you know, you can always contact me and we can set up an appointment and we can cover whatever questions you still have. So I think that covers the basis for everybody. Right on. All right. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't work too hard. It looks like if you got other stuff going on this week, that it looks like people are pretty busy. I'm even taking a course on the side this term so that I can keep my continued education stuff going, because I don't want to just sit and stagnate. And even though I finished my PhD like 2 years ago, I decided I'm going to start taking some classes. So I'm right there with you guys with being busy. So you take care of yourselves and we'll talk next Monday. Bye-bye.